Hello, this is a PowerPoint about GCSE PE as an option for students in Year 9 taking GCSE PE in Year 10. It's quite a detailed PowerPoint, but my email is at the very end of this if you'd like to ask some more questions about it that are a bit more personal to your son or daughter. As you can see on this first slide, I've got the link to the website, and we use the AQA exam board, so if you click on that link you'll be able to have a look at the specification and the grading and the boundaries that are there for that. Okay, so moving on. The key points about GCSE PE. Even if your son or daughter doesn't take GCSE PE, they will still have 3 core PE lessons every fortnight. So if you've got a child who's quite interested in sport but it's not a massive passion, it might be that they're better off just taking core PE, which they'll have anyway. It's only if you've got a real interest in sport, you've got a career focus that you think might be sport based, or you've got a passion for biology and you want to develop that through the sports side. So GCSE PE has got a real range of attributes to it. We just want to make sure that we're getting children that really want to take it rather than just like sport. Boys don't do football as part of GCSE PE until Year 11, and I think that's quite important because a lot of boys think that they're just going to play loads of football, and actually it's quite an onerous course. We want students that are going to stay after school, represent school, have a good level of fitness, and really importantly, to be successful in this course, you've got to have some sporting knowledge and awareness. So you might play sport outside of school. Simply going to the park with your friends or going for a run every now and again isn't going to be enough. You actually need to play for a team, commit to playing, travel, play matches at some level. And then to get the scores, and we have a moderation day where an examiner comes into school, we have to show video performance of sports, and that will be 3 sports. So involved in the course, it's practical and classroom based. So you can see here that students in Year 10 have 2 practical and 4 classroom lessons a fortnight, and Year 11 that goes down to 1 practical a fortnight and 5 classroom based lessons. But it's worth remembering that on top of that, they'd still have their 3 core PE lessons. So if you take GCSE PE in Year 10, you'd have 5 practical lessons a fortnight, and in Year 10 you'd have 4 practical lessons a fortnight, which is far more than most Stockport schools actually offer. And then the actual course has got 4 different elements. There's the practical exam for 3 sports. There's 2 exam papers on very different topics and styles of writing. And then there's a coursework piece where you pick a sport and you talk about your strengths and weaknesses in that sport, and then you do a little programme on how to improve it. So who should take GCSE PE? Well, obviously it's open to every single student, and the only reason we'd be looking for students not to take GCSE PE is if they're not actually interested in sport and don't take part in PE lessons. That would be a bit of a no from us. It is a challenging course though. It's a really tough theory-based course. Everyone thinks PE is practical, but unfortunately the exam board and the government don't agree at this moment in time, and it's only 30% awarded on how good you are at sport. So I've just put here that if you really enjoy sport but you have no interest in learning about the body, fitness or things about the world of sport, this might not be the right course for you. The course also links into science in quite a big way, especially in Year 10. We mix up science and the body systems, and then there are some extended questions which link really well with the structure of English answering and history. Again, just to reiterate that if you're not bringing PE kit regularly, if we're contacting home regularly because there's an issue, it's not the course. We're going to have 3 lessons a fortnight anyway. We don't want to be battling 5 or 6 times a week about this. And just a note for girls really, that practical GCSE lessons are mixed. Core PE lessons will be single sets, but GCSE PE lessons will be mixed and it'll be a classroom based. And although sometimes the girls are a bit wary of that, it's actually a good way of improving their skill level. So the big question about where GCSE PE might take me. So many students go on to take PE at sixth form or at college. They do A-level PEs, there's a BTEC, they look at public services course if you're interested in the police or the fire service. And then future courses and careers, PE teacher obviously, physio, sports scientist, sports journalist, personal trainers and a sports coach. But there's a whole range of careers available. And some courses like it, at college, if you've had a range of GCSEs, and a good one is PE because it shows a commitment to school life, playing for school teams, keeping a good level of fitness, etc. And how is the course assessed? This is the big one. From the 4 strands, the exams, the practical and the coursework, there's 260 marks available, and there's just the breakdown So you can see actually how much or how little is based on practical ability. It's only 30% of the whole exam, so just worth bearing in mind. And then the list of sports that you can actually be assessed on in GCSE PE you can find by clicking on the link. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people that do martial arts and that's not available, which is quite frustrating. But there is things like skiing on there, cross-country running, orienteering, so some different sports that we might not necessarily do in the school curriculum that you could be assessed on if you work into a particular level in that. And the assessment is one team sport and two individual sports, or the opposite way around of two individual sports and one team sport. And I've just given you a brief idea at the bottom of how we're scoring, and it's based on all the schools in the country that are doing this exam board scoring in the same manner. So a student who plays sport locally outside of school, so it might be a boy that plays for Woodley Sports or Signal or Junior Blues, a decent level will score 18 to 20 out of 25. If you're playing at a higher level than that, you might be at an academy or in a bit more elite, 20 to 23. And then same for girls really. If you're playing netball for a team outside of school, you're going to score at least 18 because you will have the skill level and the fitness level. If you're not playing for a team outside of school, it doesn't mean that you can't score that well. It just means that you're not getting the opportunity to develop your skills and tactics to that high level, which would get you into those high grades. And so this, I've given you two scenarios. One's a girl and one's a boy. This is based on John. He plays for his local football team. He's good level of fitness. He joins after school clubs. He doesn't come to after school clubs, but he joins in lessons. He does, though, play for the school football team. He doesn't really get science and maths. He finds it quite difficult, but he does concentrate in lessons and he does complete the homeworks that are set. And there's just an idea, and it's a very approximate idea of practical scores for football, table tennis and handball. So you can see there the two team sports, football and handball, and then table tennis, the individual sport. And based on the exam of what we think someone would get, if they're struggling with science and English, 30 out of 78 for paper 1, and then slightly higher in paper 2. Our students tend to score higher in paper 2. It's contemporary issues in sport, so if you watch a lot of sport and you know what's going on in the world of sport, you can answer the questions a little bit easier. And that would give an exam score total of 65 out of 156. And then John would have completed coursework about football. He's done it to a fairly good standard. He obviously knows what he's good at and what he's not good at. 15 out of 25, and with those scores combined it would come out at a grade 4, which is a low pass. And then the opposite scenario of this, we've got a boy who's quite sporty. It's a girl who has stopped playing sport. She used to play netball. She comes to after school clubs though. She plays for the school netball team still. She's good in science, and that science thing is so important. So you can see the scores here are higher. The practical scores are similar to John, but the exam paper scores are much higher, and makes a big difference. And her strengths and weaknesses in netball, because she's good in English, she can analyse really, really well at that higher level. So that would work out at approximately a grade 5, but bearing in mind a grade 6 is 159, so it's not miles away from a grade 6. Okay, and then just this is the big question: what if I'm not sure to take GCSE PE, or all my teachers want me to take their option subject? Which one's right for me? Well, we're not going to tell you that GCSE PE is right for you unless it is right for you. You know, we want to work with students, but we want to work with the best ones for us and the best ones for them. If we don't think GCSE PE is the right option for you, we will be really honest. But then you might be one of those amazing students and everybody wants you, and we certainly would want you to take our subject. So if you're not sure, come and speak to us or email me. Hopefully we'll be back at school soon, but please drop me an email and I'll be able to give you personalised feedback to help you make that decision. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye bye.